Boker Tov. Hope everyone has a meaningful and easy fast. B'ezrat Hashem. We are continuing with Halachot Shabbat, Maaseh Shabbat, Perek Rishon, Seif Kavchet. We're in the middle of. We're learning now about Bishul Achar Bishul. So yesterday, just to recap, we introduced the concept of Bishul Achar Bishul. We said there's a Gemara Masechet Shabbat Tav Kuf Mem Hem. We saw the Mishnah that says anything that was Kol Sheba Bechamin literally means that it came in hot water. Rashi says that was cooked. Anything that was cooked before Shabbat can be reheated on Shabbat because Ein Bishul Achar Bishul. Now, does this apply to liquids as well? Yes or no? We saw it was a big machloket Rishonim. And Maran was, in a nutshell, was posek like those who are machmir that Yesh Bishul Achar Bishul B'davar Lach. Once a liquid cools down, it becomes like it's raw again, and if you heat it up again, it's bishul. And so that's the reason of those Rishonim. The Rambam and the Ran and others are permit even by liquids, but Maran was specifically lachmir. So now we're going to get into more about Bishul Achar Bishul B'ma'achal Lach. Cooking, after cooking, that's a little translation, but reheating foods, let's say, to a boiling point temperature with liquids. So we spoke it out, we'll see it inside now in a more organized way. במאכל לך שנתבשל כל צורכו ונצטנן, יש להבחין בין שני מצבים. With a cold liquid dish that is cooled off, okay? A cooked liquid dish that is cooled off. There are two statuses we have to first clarify. Aleph, ima tavshil mitzamek v'yafelo. You said this yesterday, I think, Yehuda, right? If the dish, as you cook it more, gets better, kegon marak asher chimumo beshenit mashbiach ta'amo. If the dish gets better, like soups, that when you boil it again, it tastes better and better. Yesh bo mishum bishul, ufichach asur lechamemo. There's a problem of bishul, and therefore it will be forbidden to warm it up again on Shabbat. Or, like we spoke about earlier, I can't cause anything to make it be cooked, like putting a lid back on, like stirring, etc.
Liquids, right?
Only liquids. The solids we spoke about yesterday.
Liquids that get better only right now.
Correct. Liquids that are cooled off, that when you reboil it, it still gets better.
At that point, it's more than just reheating.
It's recooking. It's literally recooking.
Yeah, more than just,
yeah. Okay? ויש שאסרו אפילו להפרישו נגד האש במקום שיכול להגיע לחם שהיה צולל בו. And some are even machmir, this we spoke about in the previous halacha, that you can't even break its coldness. Remember, it's in the refrigerator, it's freezing cold. I want to just make the soup not freezing cold. Some say you can't do that. We spoke about this machloket earlier. It depends if we're concerned going to forget it or not. Very good. Okay?
It's the same machloket?
Same machloket, yeah.
Like defrost?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Okay? Very good. So that's category number one. If it's mitzamek v'yafelo, it would be asur mishum bishul, because when you reheat it or recook it, it's considered cooking again and it's a problem. Category number two, he tries to organize. Im hatavshu mitzamek v'ralo. If the dish, as you cook it, gets worse. Mitzamek literally means it shrivels up and gets worse. It's still liquid, but it gets worse. What's an example of that? Kegon kafe shechimumo beshenit migra ta'amo. Like coffee. If I have hot coffee that cooled off and I reboil it, it loses its flavor. It gets worse. It doesn't get better. Ein bo mishum bishul, says the author. The author gives a big chidush that there is no prohibition of bishul in that scenario. Ufichach, therefore, mutar lechamo al gabei kadar chamin shomet al esh. I can reheat it on a pot that's on top of a fire, or litzano al gabei plata chashmalit, or pach shal gabei karaim, or to put it on a plata or a blech. We spoke about it yesterday. Vechen maim shiratchu v'nitzanenu. Similarly, water that was boiled and cooled off. חשובים כמצטקמים ורע להם לפי שחימומם בשנית מעדה מן המים. Wow, this is a big chidush. Big chidush. I don't know if Rabbi Chaim would agree with this, but he wants to argue that this applies to water as well. Water that was once boiled and cooled off, you can reboil it because the second time it boils, it's going to evaporate. And if you don't want it to evaporate, you want the water. But he concludes the halacha by saying, some say that even if the liquid is mistamek ve'eralo, it's still chayav bishul. Okay, so let's explain these opinions down below. So the first opinion of the mistamek ve'eralo, he tries to be medayek from the Bet Yosef in Seif Daled from Rabbeinu Yonah and Rabbeinu Yerucham. That what? The mitzamek veralo ein bo mishul acher beshul af belo shenitztanen belach shenitztanen. Very good. And they try to argue that that's what the Shulchan Aruch says as well. Very, very good. Mikol makom ken da'ato the kol shu mitzamek veralo ein bo mishul beshul, says the Mama Mordechai in Maran's opinion. V'chen katav be'ur agra siv katan kavdale bedat mechaber. The Gra also says that according to Maran, mitzamek veralo with liquids and bo mishul mishul. It's a big kula. V'chen he'ela more v'zikni. This Ravadia was also posted like this in Chazon Ovadia Shabbat Chelek Aleph Amud Pei Gimel. V'katav od sham daf pehei de'af kisheyesh safek im mitzamek veralo yesh lo lehatir. Big kula. It's probably relying on the fact that half the Rishonim also say that generally I can reheat liquids. So that machloka Rishonim. Plus this, we can be mekel. Good?
Where the Rishonim say that you can reheat liquids?
What? We saw it yesterday. The Rambam, the Ran, who was it? The Rashba.
Liquid,
Yeah, of course. Okay?
These are all like heat to boiling point, right?
What?
Like anyone who says like you're allowed to reheat it, it's talking
No,
about
it's
getting
talking about Yatzolerabo.
that you're allowed to get it to Yatzolerabo.
Yeah. Yatzolerabo is the kicker. If it arrives to Yatzolerabo, you are chayav bishul, yes or no? The line of bishul is Yatzolerabo. Okay?
Does everyone agree you're allowed to reheat to the side of the pot? Like that it can't reach Yatzolerabo?
So we spoke about that yesterday. It's machloket.
I thought it was machloket if you put it on.
If it could reach Yatzolerabo on that place, Maran is machmir.
That is machloket. But everyone agrees if it can't reach Yatzolerabo.
That is mutar. Yes. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Now, just to explain these opinions of Rabbeinu Yonah and Rabbeinu Yerucham, with liquids, cooking has mutual effect. Has two different ways. One, etzem bishul, when you cook a liquid, it goes from water into soup. So the cooking actually does something to itself. Very good. Okay, good. Very good. Fine. So he tries to argue and explain how Bishul Belach works. Now, we saw very good. Okay. Wow. So they bring also that Rav Moshe Feinstein also. Moshe shekatvu gamken that water was already once cooked. Meikaradin and bahem mishul bishul af im nitzarnu legamre. Water that was once boiled, even if it's fully cold now, meikaradin from that Allah, if it recooks, if it reboils, it's mutar because it's misamek ve'ralo, like he argues very nicely. Ice? What do you mean? Machloket, very good. Probably yeah.
Liquids, I don't get it.
Because some liquids get better. Not evaporation. When my chicken soup reheats, it tastes as good. When you reheat your cholent, it's even better. The choresh gets better. So water, they try to argue that gets worse because it evaporates faster.
So why can't you say that for the liquid?
Choresh doesn't evaporate.
What does evaporate have to do with getting worse?
I don't know. That's how they argue. I would have the same question.
Food tastes worse when you reheat it, in my opinion, automatically.
The gourmet said
Better
it
when
might
it's
taste.
It's not about tasting
Not that
worse.
it's originally cooked than what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, then it was cold? So some...
I think. Wait, never mind.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. No, I don't think it's when it was cold.
No, but tovlo is like chilling for like 5 hours or 6 hours.
Exactly. As it cooks, it gets better. As you reboil chicken soup, it gets better. It doesn't get worse. Chicken gets better. The vegetables get better.
Let's say you have very liquid like vegetable soup and it's cold. When you reheat it, like the flavor goes away, no, and it evaporates a little.
Not really. Not if you have the lid covered.
Yeah, so like liquids.
We're going based off flavor. That's the Tovlo or Ralo. That's its flavor.
Mitzvah, yeah. If it gets better or worse, if it
yeah,
not flavor. If it gets better
So
or
we
worse.
said there's heterim for liquids that get worse. For the ones that get better, is it from when they're cold or from when they're? Or it's not
As you progressively warm them up,
from cold to thing, it's better.
as they get hot and they get worse or better. I won't say hot. I think it's a good question.
Coffee when it starts cold.
It's very bad.
Right?
Not really Gourmet Sabzi, not Rav Yitzchak, Rav Avadia. Rav Avadia Yosef has a tshuva on liquid.
More solid.
Yeah. So that's what Rabbi Chaim bases the whole Gourmet Sabzi one on.
Yeah.
But it depends on the texture of your Gourmet Sabzi. It's not a universal rule. If your Gourmet Sabzi is very liquidy, it's a problem. Someone is it's much more solid than it's more lenient.
Which is the average one is like.
It's not average. It's how it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Every chef has their own taste, their own. There's no their own.
But they
Does
always
it go
cook
by
it anyways,
volume
right?
or weight?
It's fully cooked.
Goes by volume for the solid.
I don't know. I think volume. Yeah, I would assume volume. It's a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, you can't weigh water. Liquid is also always in
No, I'm saying
volume.
like you have milliliters and then like.
The liquid is always in volume, so it has to be volume. The weight of a liquid is the same as its volume.
Also, when it's cold, sometimes it separates more into liquid versus.
Correct.
So-
Yeah, we'll get to those. We'll get to those. Okay. Very, very good. So this is a big chidush that water that was heated once, in theory, according to Rav Avadia, actually want to bring Chazon Avadia Chelek Aleph, page Chelek Aleph, Shabbat Chazon Avadia Chelek Aleph. See it inside. Okay. In the meantime, we'll do the next seif. It's also a very famous machloket. Tipot maim hanosharot b'michse hakedera ala plata. Up to seif kaftet. The droplets of water that are in the lid when on the plata. Okay, you brought it? Very good. Hey, Gimel, he says. Begeder tavshil yavesh shemutar liteno b'Shabbat al gabe plata haplata lechamemo. This is exactly where he talks about it.
This is about.
The droplets.
Cold liquid, cold water. That was already boiled.
Yeah, it's exactly what we read inside. He brings Maran. Tavshil sheyesh bo marak v'nitvashel kol tzorko yesh bo mishum bishul im mitzanen hagav yeshumi v'davka im mitzanek v'yafelo. Meaning גם Maran more la'aro behagah which is best bet Yosef. Okay, so Maran in Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring that kicker of the Hagah if it's mitzanek v'yafelo, but in Bet Yosef he does. So Rav Avadia tries to argue that we see that in Bet Yosef his opinion is there. If it's mitzamek v'yafelo, then it's mutar, and it's asur. If it's mitzamek v'ralo, it would be mutar. Very good. So we saw it in there, nice and clear in Chazon Avadia. Good. Okay. So those droplets on top of the lid of a pot that's on the plata. Kiderat ma'im rotchim ha'omedet al plata chashmali. A boiling pot of water that's on the plata, the electric stovetop. Plata chashmalit and lachush im ba'et haramat michse kedara noshrot tipot mayim min michsesh al guf haplata. There's nothing to be concerned about. That if I lift the lid, very often it evaporates, but the lid covers it. So there's condensation on the lid of the pot. Yeah, everyone knows what I'm talking about. When I remove the pot, that condensation collects and there's liquid there. When I turn it sideways, the water will drip. Do I have to be scared for the water not to drip onto the plata and boil? Very good. So he brings in the footnotes, in this footnote, I guess, so he brings many reasons that water that was once cooked is considered mitzamek veralo if it recooks. So this water was clearly cooked. It was in the pot. It falls onto the plata. If it cooks again, it's not a problem. Also, also what you said. Even according to those opinions that are machmir, we saw the Bach is machmir that mitzamek veralo is still chayav bebishul. Nira de'ein lechush like badavar. Minatam shitber la'el behara yudchet ayin sham. I think Yudchet was talking about davar she'eno mitkaven. I think. Let's check quickly. Yeah, talking about when you cook ice, that it's a bishul ibud. Defrosting. When we defrosted the challah, the frozen challah, we don't care about the ice particles that cook because it's bishul ibud and davar she'eno mitkaven. For all those reasons, it would be mutar. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Very, very good. So that's a famous discussion there. We'll do one more halacha, short one. Tavshil sherubo yavesh umioto lach. This is the Gomer Sabzi Seif. We saw it inside Chazon Ovadia briefly, but the halacha explains. Rav Ovadia writes, Tavshil sherubo yavesh umioto lach. I have a dish that is majority dry and its minority is liquid. Okay? Rubo yavesh umiuto lach. It's important to learn the words in Hebrew. It's very important. Yesh shekatvu shehu nidon kedevar yavesh. There are those who say that it's considered like a solid. Ve'en bo bishul achar bishul. And therefore, we wouldn't have a problem of being reheated because it goes after its majority. Why is the author writing this language? Because it's a huge machlokes achronim. And he's being posek like Rav Ovadia. We saw in Rav Ovadia, in Chazon Ovadia, in Yabi Omer, is where he writes it in length, that where he argues that if it's a majority dry, it can be considered like dry and it be mutar. They're bringing the footnote. In adin zeh niftach medivei Babet Yosef b'siman reshtun bet gimel seif bet. This halacha comes up from reshtun gimel, not in shin yorchet, but in reshtun gimel seif bet. That what Maran was posek like Rabbeinu Yonah and Rabbeinu Yerucham, dekol sherubo rotav umitzamek v'yafelo ve'utzonen keshechziru al gabei kira umitztamek hevet kemevashel gamur. The Maran is the Beit Yosef is medayek from the Rishonim that what? A few conditions. One, if it's a sauce, if it's majority sauce, okay, majority liquid, and as you cook it, it gets better with cooking, and it's cold. In that scenario, it's considered Bishul Gamur. But from this language that he said, if it's a majority liquid and it gets better,
Do you need all the ends?
what?
Do you need all the ends?
Not necessarily, don't need all the ends. Just from the
break that end state.
from the fact that Maran is posek that if it's majority rotav mashma the im yesh bo miut rotav, that if it's minority, if it's partially liquid, it'll be mutar. Let be mishum bishul. Only if it's the majority is liquid is it a problem. The minority is it's not. Okay?
So the only condition we care about is the liquid solid?
What?
The only condition we care about is liquid solid?
Ralo tovlo if it's considered a liquid. But if it's considered solid, I don't care if it's ralo. If it's solid, tovlo, it's fine.
Was there a third condition? Oh, it started cold?
Yeah, because if it's warm already, it's not
If you
bishul.
have
That's obvious.
If majority solid, some liquid, but it's tovla.
Mutar. According to Rav Ovadia, it's mutar.
You need both to be asur.
Oh,
You need both, meaning you need both.
It needs to be liquid. Ignore anything else. Liquid asur, solid mutar. What happens if a mixture? If it's majority liquid, it's liquid. If it's majority solid, it's solid. That's how you remember.
Is
Okay.
considered majority liquid or solid?
Good question. Depends on the texture. There's
They don't,
some.
like the Tiv gives us warm cholent on Shabbat day.
That's not a problem because they've been boiling from the night before. It's been on the
Oh,
pot.
they leave it on?
They leave it on. Yeah, chulent's usually left on from the night before.
Is it also an Ashkenazi concern?
Ashkenazim will get there. They don't reheat food on Shabbat, even if it's for a separate reason. Cold food.
But Roy was saying this, but I went to a rabbi's house and he had the pot though on Shabbat.
Yeah, because they leave their cholent on it. They eat cholent on the day. They have hot cholent on the day. They don't warm up cold food on Shabbat, even if it's fully cooked. We'll get there. So it's a one of their chumrot, but it's not our minhag.
Party, are they allowed to eat it?
I guess. Good question. Why not? He didn't do anything asur.
That's
It
like
was
them
mutar
asking us
for
to
him.
open the bottles for them, right?
That's a little different
What
because
is
that's in Sfara. I guess. Yeah, fine. Whatever. Okay, so let's explain this. Let's wrap up this majority liquid or not. The Rav Ovadia builds all of this on the Minchat Kohen that says that Rabbeinu Yerucham himself didn't write this. Ela sheyesh bo rotav. כתב בית יוסף עצמו, ובמקומות שנראה שבית יוסף כתב שכן להיות, כן, הדין לדעתו. Very good, very good, כף החיים. However, many are machmir with this opinion. רבים התקשו בזה. דמאחר שדבר לך, יש בו בישול אחר בישול, מה לי רוב לך, מה לי מיעוט לך. Many achronim argue and say, I don't care. Maran was posek, lach yesh bo mishum bishul. Who cares if it's a little bit or a lot? Who cares if there's a difference? If there's any liquid in there, it should be a problem. The solid is okay, the liquid is not. Why are you going after the majority? Okay? And they bring the Rishonim. Eliyahu Rabbah, Minchat Kohen, Bet Reaheating, very good. וכן באור לציון פרק ל' תשובה י"ג רצו להגיע בדברי הבית יוסף במקום שרובו רוטב שיש בו רוטב. The Or Letzion wanted to adjust and correct the Bet Yosef. Again, the Bet Yosef has the word rubo rotav. If it's majority liquid or sauce, and Ravadia and the Achronim derive from there, that means if it's minority, it's mutar. The Or Letzion says, no, the correct girsa is sheyeshbo, not sherubo, sheyeshbo. What does sheyeshbo mean? If there is any liquid. It's the complete opposite. If you make that the right girsa, then you have no more mashma. There's no more intuition. There's no more, you can't extrapolate the lower level.
It's like step one.
It eliminates step one. So Or Letzion adjusts and edits he's magi, he fixes the Bet Yosef, and this is therefore it's asur. You can't, if it's partially liquid, it's asur. However, Ulam Kvar Ashkechana Beprimegadim Sham Biur Nachon Edvei Bet Yosef Minchat Kohen. Vehu al pri Mishnat what Mash Nichtav Be'el. Desvia lehu leRabbeinu Yonah leRabbeinu Yerucham degufayu demitzvek v'ralo en bo mishul achar bishul ve'im ken ate shapir decho sherubo yavesh min astam hevet mitzvek v'ralo ki mitzvek v'ralo hu leyavesh. So the Pri Megadim wants to say no, the girsa we have is correct. Why? Because what we said earlier about the mitzvek v'ralo, generally yavesh is generally mitzvek v'ralo. Generally, the longer you cook a steak, the worse it gets. The drier it gets, the less juicy it is. The more you cook grilled chicken, the drier it gets. So the Pri Megadim says that once it's considered yavesh, the longer you cook it, it becomes misek veralo, and it will be mutar. So that's why he tries to protect and defend the girsa that we have in the Bet Yosef. And Ravadia writes in that same page, in Chazon Ravadia, also in Yabi Omer, in a few places, this whole tshuva is really there, that if it's majority liquid, it's considered liquid. If it's majority solid, it's considered solid, and you can reheat it on Shabbat. So now, halacha l'maaseh, how does that tie into our different Persian stews?
Some of them are more liquidy.
So it really depends on the metziut. Generally, Rabbi Chaim says the stew, the hormes absi he's seen, is majority solid, and you can rely on it to be reheated on Shabbat. Okay, let's say it's or lape, majority solid. Let's say you can do it on Shabbat, as opposed to the other karafs and other ones that are fully liquid with some celery in there. Maybe that's a problem. So that's the halacha l'maaseh. Now we're going to get into, even with pure liquids, is there any solution you have? So I'm going to just give the answer. We'll see it inside later on. Ravadia has another tshuva about gram bishul. What about if I have a timer that turns on the plata later on, and when I put the pot of my hormes abzi or whatever on the plata, it's off and it turns on its own and then boils it. So Ravadia explains that gram bishul with something that was already cooked is mutar. Why? Because you can rely on the Rambam and the Rashba and the Ran that and bishul chabishul devar lach. And even if you want to say like the Maran, who's machmir, gram bishul, it's a grama. I didn't do it directly, I did it inadvertently. So that's the etzah that we generally give to anyone who wants to reheat pure liquid on Shabbat that was already cooked. So yeah, that's the way to do it. Now, I don't know how many people are doing that, but that's how God willing in our homes, we can do it in the right way, in our homes as well as Hashem. Hazak Baruch.